Now, in this first topic, we will have a look at specific posting groups. But first of all, before covering what a specific posting group is, let me first make an example that will show you the result of using posting groups, because maybe it's still a little bit too abstract for some of you. And again, by making an example, it will become more clear what the importance of posting groups are. So in this case, suppose I'm a salesperson. So it's my job to create sales orders. So when a customer orders items, what I have to do is create sales orders. So let me do this. So I have a customer on the phone, and the customer is placing an order for some items. Okay, so I will first of all assign a number. Then I will enter the customer number. And so for example, let me look up the customer by entering the name, and that's the way that I know my customers. For example, in this case, we get an order from John Hedrick Insurance. There we go. Okay, next I can check the date fields. If there is a requested delivery date, I can enter the date field and so on. And by going to the lines fast tab, I can now enter what the customer wants to have. So for example, in this case, the customer would like to have some chairs. So I will enter the item number, so the most popular items I know by heart. Otherwise, I can look them up by description and so on. So we will ship from the location code blue, and the customer orders 12 of these chairs. So there you go. So this is my reality. So that's what I'm doing in the business application. I'm creating orders from customers which are ordering items that I all know very well. So in this case, the items are on stock, so everything is ready to be processed. So the shipment has been done, and for example, I would now like to issue the invoice to the customer. So that's something I can do by clicking on Post in the ribbon, and I will ship an invoice. So I will finish the document completely. There you go. Do you want to go to the open invoice? Well, yes, let's do that. So I would like to go to the posted invoice. And here you can see now the posted document. So I can still see my customer. I can still see the items that I've sold to the customer and so on. But now, suppose now I'm not a salesperson anymore, but a bookkeeper. I would like to check what has been posted in the general ledger. So I will click now on Navigate. And there you can see now that a number of GL entries are created, 5 to be more specific. So let me click here on 5. And here you can see now everything that has been posted based on this entry. You see, so there's posted on a specific sales account, for example. And so if I select the line, you can see here sales retail domestic. There's posted, for example, on a specific VAT account. And the system also posted on the customer domestic account. And here you can see the amounts if you're interested. Now, most interesting and most important is we have here the general ledger entries, but at no time as a salesperson, I had to enter somewhere these GL accounts. That's something that the system took care of fully automatically. Now, and how was the system able to define these GL accounts? Well, yes, indeed, by using posting groups. So by looking at the posting groups assigned to customers, to items, to the VAT setup and so on, the system was able to find the sales accounts, the VAT accounts, the receivables accounts and so on. So this is showing very well the importance of posting groups. If they are set up properly, if they are set up completely, then you will see that users, without having to have any knowledge on bookkeeping, can perfectly post sales and purchase documents. So now that we know the importance of posting groups, let's look at the first type of posting groups, the specific posting groups. Now, typically about specific posting groups is that they link to balance sheet accounts. And that's why these can be considered as specific posting groups in NAV. The customer posting group, so we just saw an example. But there is of course also the vendor posting group. We have the inventory posting group. There's fixed asset posting groups, bank account, and finally also the job posting groups. Let's look at these posting groups one after the other. So I will start with the customer posting group. So let me go to the customer posting groups, and here you can see a very nice example of how these posting groups can look like. So first of all, a couple of things that you can see here. We can have multiple posting groups. So in this case, multiple customer posting groups. So we are not limited to one posting group per type. So in this case, you see that Kronos wants to make the difference between domestic, EU and foreign. But EU and foreign, they just want to use the same GL account, which is perfectly possible. And so even when creating different posting groups, you don't have to use different GL accounts if you don't want so. You see? So that's the first thing that you see. Then the second thing, why is this a specific posting group? Well, because the primary account is the balance sheet account. So we just saw on the slide that the specific posting group links to a balance sheet account. And this is in this case the receivables account. That's the primary account. And this is of course the balance sheet account, as you could see in my previous example. So when you post, for example, an invoice, the system will debit on the receivables account. When the customer has paid the invoice and you're posting the payment, the system will credit on the account. Now another thing that you can see very clearly in this example is that we're in most of the cases not limited to one GL account per posting group. So there are quite a lot of other accounts that you can see here besides the receivables account. And we have the service charge, there's payment discount, debit and credit account, there's the interest account, additional fee, and so on. So if I scroll to the right, you can see that you can add quite a lot of GL accounts to a customer posting group. Now in most of the cases, these GL accounts should be added based on the functionality that you use. And a very good example is the payment discount. So if you have set up payment discounts in NAV, then of course you might have to assign the payment discount debit and credit account. However, if you don't use payment discounts, you use the other types of discounts but not payment discounts, then of course you don't have to set up these accounts. You can just leave them blank. So here you can see one blank field, which probably points to the fact that Kronos isn't using additional fees per line account. They're just using additional fees account, you see? So that's also very important in real life. Only assign accounts to the fields based on the functions that you use. So that's what we see here. Now each posting group of course should be assigned to master data, and in this case the customer posting group obviously is assigned to customers. So if I go to customers and if I open one of the customers, this one for example, if I scroll down, you can see here the customer posting group field. So that's of course very important, because by assigning the customer posting group, the system knows to which receivables account to post, as we saw in the previous example. So that's customer. Let's have a look at the vendor posting group. And of course, this is very similar to the customer posting group. But the opposite of, or the difference of course, is that here we don't use a receivables account, but a payables account. So when we post a purchase invoice or when we have paid vendors, this is the payables account to which the system will post. Besides the payables accounts, also here you can see a whole series of other accounts like service charge, the payment discounts accounts. And here goes the same remarks as we just gave when discussing the customer posting group. So if you don't use, for example, payment discounts in the purchase application area, you don't need to assign these GL accounts here. So it depends on the functions, again, that you use. Now, the vendor posting group is, of course, assigned to vendors. So also here, if I show you an example, if I open a vendor, for example, this one, if I scroll down, you can see here the vendor posting group foreign assigned to this vendor. So that's the second posting group that is very important. Then the third one, the inventory posting group. So let's have a look here. So if I go to the inventory posting groups, you can see here the three posting groups that our demo company has set up: finished, raw material, and resale. Now, first of all, these posting groups are used to define the inventory account to which inventory, so items that we have on stock, should be posted. However, I don't see any GL accounts. So with the two previous examples, you could see the accounts linked directly to the posting groups, and this is not the case here. Now, why is this? Well, this is because of the fact that we use in NAV the concept of combining the inventory posting group with a location. So let me go one step back, use the search function to search for inventory posting groups. And instead of going to the inventory posting group, I will go to the inventory posting setup. And there you can see what I just explained. So here you can see the inventory posting group again. So the 3 different groups we just saw, finished, raw material, and resale. Now you can see GL accounts, but you see that the GL accounts are linked to a combination of the location and the inventory posting group. Now a location, for those of you that might not be familiar with the concept of location in NAV, is a physical location in which we store items, a warehouse for example. So basically what we do is combine the inventory posting group with a location, which will allow us to set specific accounts per combination. Now in this case, Kronos is using the same accounts because they're using 2-120 for blue finished, but also for example 2-120 for green finished, you see. But you can use different accounts if you want, of course. So very typically in NAV, combine the inventory posting group with locations. Now, which accounts do we assign here? Well, the primary accounts are the inventory account and the inventory account interim. So these are 2 balance sheet accounts, which is why this is also a specific posting group. These accounts, like I just said, are used to post the inventory on. So the inventory that we have of our items. Now, what is the difference between the inventory account and the interim account? Well, the interim account is used to post the non-invoiced inventory. So for example, I have received some items that we have purchased from a vendor. So we have received them, but we didn't get the invoice yet. So we are not posting the invoice. Then you will see that when posting the receipt, the system can post the value to an interim account. And when the same items are being invoiced, like for example the next week, then it will transfer the amount from the interim account to the inventory account. You see, so interim again means non-invoiced. Now, besides these 2 primary accounts, you can also see a series of other accounts, and these are typical for manufacturing companies. So companies using the manufacturing application area can then also specify a WIP account, a material variance, capacity variance, and so on. So typically for manufacturing companies, that will also have to assign these accounts. So that's the inventory posting group. Again, still a specific posting group, but a little bit different from the others because we combine it with a location codes. Then the next one that we had on our list was the fixed asset posting group. So let me look up the fixed asset posting groups, and we of course use these in the fixed asset application area. So as you probably know, a fixed asset is something that we acquire and that we depreciate over different years. Now for fixed asset bookkeeping, so for the administration of fixed asset in general ledger, there are quite a lot of accounts that you might need. So for example, if you purchase a car, a machine, whatever, you need to post it on an acquisition cost account. If you're doing your periodic depreciations, it needs to be posted on an accumulated depreciation account against the depreciation expense account. You can make a loss or a gain when you dispose of a fixed asset, and so on. You see, so all these GL accounts might be required to set up when you use the fixed asset application area. You might even need more accounts, because here you will see that the fixed asset posting group can not only be displayed as a list, but you can even go to a card. So if I click on edit, you will see that the card opens and that many more GL accounts can be assigned. Now these all point at quite specific transactions, such as appreciations or write-downs, which are rather extraordinary. So, but if you might need them, you can assign them here and by opening the fixed asset posting group card. Now the details on these transactions are not covered in this course. This is something which is covered in fixed assets. Okay, so but again, because we link primary to the acquisition cost and accumulated depreciation accounts, which are balance sheet accounts. Also, this posting group exists in the list of specific posting groups. Now, just to give you an idea where to assign this posting group, let me go to the fixed assets. And if I open the fixed asset, like for example the computer here, you will see that by going to the depreciation books fast tab, the fixed asset posting group appears, and that we can assign here the correct posting group. Then we're almost at the end of the list. The next specific posting group is the bank account posting group. Now, this is a very simple posting group because literally there's only a code and one GL account. So the GL account on which we would like to post our bank transactions. So very easy to set up. There's only one GL account that you will have to assign. And once the posting group is created, you can then link it to bank accounts. So let me go to bank accounts. So bank accounts, there we go. And if I open a bank account, like for example the first one, if I scroll down, you will see on the posting fast tab that there you have the bank account posting group field where I can enter the bank account posting group. And in that way the system knows to which GL account the transactions, the bank account transactions of this bank should be posted. And then the last one is the job posting group. So if I show you this one, job posting groups, you can see an example here. Now, this is of course used in the job application area, and you can see that we can assign accounts such as the WIP cost account, accrued costs, job costs, sales, GL expenses, and so on and so on. And these accounts, like I just said, are used in combination with jobs. Let me show you. So if I go to jobs, and if I open one of the existing jobs of Kronos, by scrolling down to the posting fast tab, you can there see the job posting group. So a job is a number of tasks that you perform for a customer, like in this case, setting up work areas, or building a house, or implementing software, and so on. And the job posting group is used to post all the different sales and purchase transactions to the right job GL accounts. So that's basically what the job posting group is used for. So again, these are all the different specific posting groups that we can use. We saw that they primarily link to balance sheet accounts, but in most of the cases, you can also add additional accounts, except for the bank account posting group. You can now go to the practice of this lesson in which you can create a new vendor posting group.